Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Born to be Wild Listener Series Season 5 semifinals. So we are now in Week 7. This is the top 4, second to the last week here, and we have got an incredible matchup for you tonight. I'm joined by Hydralisk and Electric Sheep City from our podcast. Hydra's power went out, so he's joining us from his cell phone, but we are making the best of it. So welcome back, friends.
Meowdy, meowdy.
Hello. Tonight we are hosting a match, MartianBuu, the one and only MartianBuu versus our very good friend as well, SchmoopieDaddy. This will be a legendary matchup here. We're going to look at their decks and everything, but before we do that, a couple quick notes about the Born to be Wild Listener Series. So if you're watching this for the first time, the Born to be Wild Listener Series is a wild Hearthstone tournament series with custom deck building restrictions each week. This week is no different. So jumping into how this series works, this series is played in the Conquest format. So each week, players submit 4 decks consisting of separate classes. Classes and deck lists are hidden until after the weekly submission deadline. Once classes and deck lists are revealed, players have an opportunity to review and ban one of their opponent's decks. Ban selections are hidden until both players have submitted their bans, at which point they're revealed. In the Conquest format, when a player wins with the deck, that player must then move on to a different deck. The losing player may switch decks, but is not required to do so. The victor is the first player to win matches with all 3 decks. And then a quick note for anybody watching along tonight. Players are represented by avatars, and decks are represented by their class icons. Banned decks are marked with the red X, and winning decks are marked with a green check. And so you'll see the portrait over here to the left, the classes on the right, and then the green check indicating the player's won, so that class can no longer be played. The red X, again, indicating that that class cannot be played because it's been banned. And then pass the mic over to Sheep to talk about this week's lore and challenges.
Yeah, so in the semifinals, the title is Dominate the Waves. So, of course, we'll kick it over to recorded lore master Goliath the Dwarf for a little bit of story time.
Over the years, the Naga took control of the oceans of Azeroth, commanding armies of sea creatures and eventually revealing themselves to the surface dwellers. Under the orders of Azeroth, the Naga attempted to usurp complete control of the oceans from Neptulon, the elemental lord of water, in order to assert complete control of the sea. But they were driven back by the armies of water elementals and the aid of the Alliance and Horde.
So, in Dominate the Waves, the primary challenge is that each deck must contain at least 8 elemental minions. And the secondary challenge this week is that your deck must contain 15 standard legal cards and 15 cards that are only legal in Wild. So, Prince Renathal, the brand new legendary, is also legal. So, if any contestant, which both of them did here, play Prince Renathal in their deck, then restrictions scale with the deck list. So the primary challenge of at least 8 elemental minions scales up to 11, and the secondary challenge of 15 and 15 scales up to also half and half, but that's 20 and 20. So 20 standard legal and 20 wild exclusive legal as well.
Excitement abounds.
Yes, very much so. So, speaking of those decks, let's take a look at the list and which ones we'll be looking at first, Nate.
All right, so let me pull up MartianBuu's decks first. So Martian brought Paladin, Shaman, Warlock, and Mage. And SchmoopieDaddy banned Martian's Shaman. So looks like we've got a Highlander Paladin here. An even Warlock, and then a Hero Power or Ping Mage deck. So pretty fun lists here.
And that Paladin is the one that I thought was Renathal, but it's just that it was Reno. So it was just longer in the list. So Martian did not bring Renathal, but Schmoopie did.
Yes, correct. Definitely some spicy lists here, though. And it's interesting to see decks that are both competitive but also fit the deck building restrictions here. The Highlander Paladin is a really spicy list. It's like, well, how am I going to fit a bunch of elementals into this and still be good? And these lists look competitive. Same with the Warlock. Again, an even Warlock here, and then hero power mage with the Wildfires. We see Reckless Apprentice and Mordorish Fire Eye on the top. And Ping Mage, one of my also kind of pet favorite decks over here. I never, super successful with it, but I really, really, really enjoy playing it. And then let's switch over to look at SchmoopieDaddy's decks.
And so SchmoopieDaddy is the one who did bring an XL deck. And that is SchmoopieDaddy's Rogue. It's an XL Quest Rogue. And that quest, of course, is the Caverns Below.
Ooh.
So, yeah, got even more cards, which, of course, with our restrictions, even more minions to do it with as well. So very exciting to see that. And Rogue was not banned, so we may very well get to see that first up is my personal hope.
Yeah, absolutely. We also see an Ignite Mage and Big Priest, kind of like we talked about on the show. I see a Big Priest over here with Blood of Cahoon and Neptulon, along with Localar and Scrapyard Colossus, meeting the Elemental Challenge over here. So these are going to be some really good games, really competitive decks, actually. So quite looking forward to this series tonight. And again, we are in the top 4. We are in the zone of prizes now as well. So each competitor is now competing for prizes, which include card packs. And so really looking forward to this series here. Any other thoughts before we have them get started?
Nothing else here. So I will message our contestants to begin when they are ready.
Excellent. These are some spicy lists, and I love them all. Like they look very competitive, and I don't really know what to expect, or if there's a clear, when we get to this stage, the competitors are just like phenomenal players. We've featured Schmoopie on stream a number of times. In this season, we've featured Martian in the past. Okay, it looks like they're queuing up right now. So let's see what they queue up first.
Both superlative deck builders and deck pilots, and we get to start off with Schmoopie on the
Ignite Mage, yeah.
Ignite Mage, and Martian on that Highlander Paladin.
Oh, Schmoopie drew patches. That's sad. I see an ice block in hand is what I'm referring to, because we do have this inconspicuous rider here that typically would pull it, but that's all right. What a matchup this is going to be. I like seeing the new skins too, the new Paladin skin over here by Martian.
And a pretty spicy Jaina to fit the Fire Festival theme as well. That kind of fire and ice portrait.
I love it. Yeah, this I believe was Fire Crane Jaina or something. I think it was from the last was it the New Year's Festival, something like that. Anyways, good times.
And so Martian able to drop Sir Finley of the Sands onto option to heal, soul tap without the damage taken, or dire shapeshift. And Martian choosing to soul tap, knowing that whenever Schmoopie gets the combo off, it doesn't matter how much armor he's got, and just churning through the deck to present bigger and bigger threats seems to be the way to go right here.
And that inconspicuous rider did pull the other ice block.
My hand is full.
Oh, Martian, unfortunately, a Scrapyard Colossus and a Zephyrus being milled on the back of that Cold Light Oracle there, but not any combo pieces. But because he's not the one playing the combo deck. That's why.
We're missing a yellow card, but that's all right. We see Martian playing the animated broomstick, I think primarily just to dump cards so that he's not overdrawing.
And Schmoopie playing the Tar Creeper fits the theme, and also, hey, it's got taunt to prevent Martian from going face. Exactly what Schmoopie wants. But Martian, of course, has the equality, has the city tax, and is able to deal with all of the board and continue pushing pace.
Yeah, Martian going to have to be kind of aggressive here, having to push through 2 ice blocks. It's a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I'll be really curious to see when and how Martian handles the Loatheb. Because in this matchup in particular, dropping that Loatheb is going to be the most pivotal part. And Martian is probably going to be wishing that he did that thing if Schmoopie completely goes off here.
Wow. This may be over sooner than we thought. Curious if SchmoopieDaddy can pull it off in time.
And of course, Schmoopie is playing on mobile as well.
Oh, wow. It was furiously
wiping these cards. Yeah, because he's got the combo. He's cycling those ignites. Those ignites are going back and forth and back and forth.
APM
scaling with
on a cell
everyone.
phone. Wow.
There's 5. At least on my screen.
Will he get there in time? I think probably. He needs 2 more at this point.
Rope's about 2/3 of the way down. Is he going to get the final one? And he does. SchmoopieDaddy takes game 1.
Wow. Wow. And on mobile, to boot. Incredible.
That's incredible. And it really was, too.
Right. All right, so Schmoopie winning with the mage, so he'll have this quest rogue and the big priest left. We'll see whether Martian queues back into the Reno Paladin or something different.
And Martian toggles over to that ping mage. Love to see it.
Are they? It says on my screen waiting for the next game to start. Do I have to
You might need to, because I'm in. They are in.
All right. It's a little spectate bug. Apologies.
And so on 1, Martian played Elemental Allies, the side quest. Play an Elemental 2 turns in a row. Reward. Draw 3 spells from your deck. Then on 1, Schmoopie played Illuminate and got a Lesser Diamond Spellstone dredged up to the top.
Couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. I'm fixing the spectating right now.
Yes. So then on 2, Martian played a Submerged Space Rock, which is an elemental. It's one of the new ones from the mini set. Elemental 2/2. Death Rattle, add 2 arcane mage spells to your hand at the end of your turn. Discard them. On 3, you played Arcane Amplifier. Got the draw on. Schmoopie played Palm Reading on 3. Martian played Book of Specters so that he could drop the Goldshire Knoll, and now you're all caught up.
All right, we are back. Just in time for Coin Shadow Essence.
Oh, Shadow Essence into a Localara the Ice Lord. Probably not what Schmoopie was hoping to see without too many res effects in hand, but it does go ahead and get that Localara into the res pool.
Yeah. I think typically you want to see like a Blood of Cahoon, but they're both sitting in hand, so that ain't gonna happen.
So Schmoopie just keeping playing that Spellstone to prevent a cool 13 damage from going to his face, which is sitting at 19 health.
Right? Yeah,
Smart
no,
move.
yeah, not optimally how you want to use the Spellstone, but definitely needed to prevent the damage, and it was a clean board clear. Unfortunately, only 1 minion in the res pool at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Schmoopie with an Idol of Yasharge. But of course, that Light Shower Elemental coming down.
Yeah, definitely. Health can be critical here, and the Ping Mage can go over the top. Light Shower Elemental provides some necessary healing here.
Magic? I've heard of it.
Martian getting his draw on.
Ooh, and there's the second Wildfire.
Yeah. And Martian's hero power will now be doing 3 damage, and it's free. Currently, not a persistent effect. Oh, and Schmoopie top decking the Lesser Diamond Spellstone once more.
Well, now the Light Shower Elemental's back, so here's 2 minions. Yeah, Schmoopie really having to stall for the next couple of turns, but if cards are played on curve, we'll see Idol of Yasharaj into Blood of Gahoon into Scrapyard Colossus. Wow, and Martian over here with the clean board clear here with 2 Reckless Apprentices.
Those apprentices have become the master.
I imagine that the oh my goodness, Localar really wants to be played tonight.
Very much so. Martian having to play Varden Dawn Grasp in order to upgrade the hero power so that he can deal, he being Martian, deal with that Localar with the hero power.
That's an upgrade.
Very, yes. So Schmoopie with a couple of options. Only one real option, though. Let's be real. Blood of Gahoon. It's just fun to say.
So Martian's hero power currently does 5 in order to upgrade, and so you see Martian considering whether or not to kill the Scrapyard Colossus to upgrade the hero power. Hero power will now do 7.
Yes.
Oh my, that's a Neptulon. I imagine
Yes.
Martian's Mordresh now will clear the board.
Yes, a Mordresh would clear. Martian does still need to top deck it. Schmoopie...
Only 3 cards left in his deck at this point, though. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Right? Schmoopie still has 16, so Martian is drawing a lot.
Yeah, those 2 Books of Spectre, plus the Book of Spectre played from Dawn Grasp as well. Just
Here it
churning
comes.
through.
Yep. Wow, so Mordish coming down, clearing the board, and also Martian upgrading his hero power again. Now will do 9.
Just outrageous. But Martian now only with 2 cards left in his deck.
Yeah, the question is, can Martian stabilize, use some hero power to go over the top? Big Priest gets kind of scary, and there's definitely some res effects in hand. We saw both Spellstones played already, but there's an Amulet of Undying here. Only does resurrects 1 friendly at this point, though.
Yeah, Schmoopie trading that to upgrade.
Oh my.
Playing the Eternal Servitude does not see a Neptulon. Does see a Scrapyard Colossus.
Martian only has 1 card left in his deck at this point as well.
And it is a Conjurer's Calling. That Goldshire Knoll It's not going to rush in. It's going to become 2 10-drops. Schmoopie's still presenting lethal. Martian can, of course, get rid of the Fell-Cracked Colossus with his hero power and prevent that lethal from being presented on board.
I never knew it was called Fell-Cracked Colossus before.
Mm-hmm. Chipping away at the board a little bit. An Echo of Medivh coming down. Imagine mostly for Kuhn's armor effect. If I was a betting sheep. Right. Schmoopie with some options, going with the palm reading to discount and discover. Doesn't want drown. Whispers of the Deep. Of course, using the double Shadow Word Death on Martian's board. Oh, yeah. Martian, of course, knows this much better than I. That Kuhn was not played for armor. That Kuhn was played to go as wide as that Khadgar can.
Wow.
But with no taunts, Martian accepts defeat with the multicaster drawing into fatigue lethal. And Schmoopie has claimed game 2. So Schmoopie did not lead off with that extra large, that XL, Quest Rogue. XL is both Roman numerals for 40 and extra large. So that's Prince Renathal's XL.
Very clever.
Are you interrupting my meal? Stay in the
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for Martian right now. Just looking at Schmoopie's hand with the Caverns Below, Ram Commander, Shadow Step. Pitched the 4th card to get Zola the Gorgon. But those 3 is just... This quest is getting done quick.
Very, very quickly, yeah. There's some decent cards in Martian's hand. It might be a little bit slow.
Yeah, might be a little slow, but does have... If he can get to 8 mana, that Gigafin to deal with 1 board. Has a Raise Dead if he can keep the pool there. Goldshire Knoll to deal with an early board and kind of contest. Oh, but Schmoopie with the Stone Tusk board pickup too.
Oh my goodness. I'm very selfishly rooting for Martian here because I want this to go to as many games as possible. But this is like the definition of a god hand if I've ever seen one.
It really is an incredible hand.
More bones to gnaw on.
Now, if Schmoopie top decks a prep, then not quite. So Schmoopie wondering how to best spend his mana. Of course, completing the quest. I imagine we'll see a Ram Commander come down and double trade the Ram Commander and not the Ram Commander, both battling Rams into the Showstopper. But Schmoopie sitting on 40 health.
Yeah, not too concerned about it then.
Just passes.
Prepping the dagger to get ready for the South Sea deckhand, I believe.
Yes. Completely agreed.
Well, and if we take a look at Martian's health real quick, is only at 17.
Out of the oven.
Oh, I spoke too soon.
Martian at 26. So Crystal Core coming down for the rest of the game. Schmoopie's minions are 5/5s. So of course, the way that silence works with a quest rogue, if they get silenced, they're still 5/5s because
Yep.
it's not an effect on the minions themselves. Martian mostly just playing those showstoppers for board and to push any sort of damage he can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a race at this point, and actually it makes sense that Prince Renethal is in this deck just to buy some time. Oh, and another Stone Tusk Boar has just been picked up. So right now we're looking on 15 charge damage. Oh my goodness.
And that daring escape will do it.
Wow. Wow. That was fast. Oh, we see all three come back down again. For the added, yeah, there we go. Stone Tusk Boar lethal. Holy moly. And there we have it, folks.
Wow, that was a series. Holy moly. I want to play some of that XL Quest Rogue on ladder.
Yeah, right. That was great games and very fast. And yeah, what does that mean for our finals?
So that means that we will see Dr. BOMD and SchmoopieDaddy face off in the finals next week, right here on twitch.tv/born-to-be-wild-hs.
All right. Either of them willing or interested in jumping on a quick call?
Hello.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So we got Sheep so far.
I'm here as well. This is Nate.
We got Nate. How's Hydra doing? Hydra, sorry about the power outage on Canada today. Somebody's having too much fun.
Yeah, you know, hope somebody didn't crash their car into a telephone pole or a power line or whatever it is.
I wasn't going to go dark with it, Nate.
All right. So congratulations, Schmoopie. Sorry, Schmoopie's daddy. Let's be real.
Yeah.
On the victory, on making it to the finals. You will be facing off against Dr. BOMD in the finals. So tell me, of course, first, how does it feel to have made it all the way to the finals?
It feels a little bit redemptive considering that, last time I was in this position and I was playing against Jordan, the effect of Dirty Rat was banned, but Mutanus was in there and I got scammed by Mutanus twice in 2 of my games, I think it was. And so having a second opportunity to go to a finals, was definitely I didn't necessarily have it on my checklist, but now I know it's there. So that feels amazing. And it also feels amazing to have done it competing against someone like Martian. He gets my Bezos money every month. He's one of the wild players I look up to. He's represented, Western wild Hearthstone in the China versus China versus West tournaments. He's just a world-class player, world-class deck builder, and to get the opportunity to compete against him, let alone beat him, let alone winning a sweep, which let's be honest, I high rolled a bit there.
Watch the playback later. We were commenting you had the god hand there, the sheep wranglers and the shadow step. Oh my goodness!
And not only that, but I also happened to draw the second, Ram Commander just in case, the other one, something mysterious happened to the other one. And then 3 Chargers. And in testing, the only deck that the Quest Rogue could beat was the even lock for whatever reason. That was the only game I could scam Ginger. I had Ginger Ninja help me out with play testing the decks against each other. And I felt so high on the quest road going in and leaving the testing. I was just like, oh my God, this is my weakest deck. And I didn't even come up with the idea. Dr. BOMD sent it to me, and I'm like, oh man, he sold me on a Schmoopie deck. And it actually, it got the high roll it needed for it to get through. And I actually had in mind when deck building, if my tech choices looked a little funny or my card choices looked a little funny, I knew that Even Lock was a deck that Martian brought last week. I knew that Even Lock was an easy deck to bring this week. So I had stuff like Shadow Word Death in my Big Priest. I had stuff like Double Hysteria in my Warlock, which got banned. I had in mind, that, okay, this is a deck that I might have to face against. And so I was a little bit prepared for that too.
Yeah, so you're kind of soft targeting it with different counters, essentially.
Yeah, or even if it wasn't necessarily counters, it was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm probably always going to see Mountain Giants this week seemed like low-hanging fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to see big stuff. So like, I only ran one Defile, and again, the Warlock that got banned, but I only ran one Defile because I'm just like, well, I'm probably not going to get to use this too often. But I will run Double Hysteria because I figure, well, this will probably help me in the big stuff matchup where, traditionally that's not a concern, or that's a weakness for Mechthun Warlock on ladder because it's not expecting as much big stuff. So different meta, just had to make a different call.
Well, and to yes and that, Martian said afterwards in chat, really smart lineup from Schmoopie, by the way. You can quote me on that if you like. Very well done. And listening to you explain not just, of course, your lineup itself, but then the different ways that you're approaching this week and this meta just kind of reaffirms that your handle on this whole week has been just like perfect and well played. That's incredible.
I appreciate it. I do think it's a competition that I think I have like a sense of the pace. I have the weird interactions and like, I play so much off meta that I have this like catalog of decks that I can kind of call back to some off wall ideas, and sometimes they're a little bit too copious, and sometimes they end up being pretty solid. I'm amazed I got to play Ignite Mage. I was like, this is probably the deck that I'm most comfortable with, but hindsight 2020, it's the one deck where if I don't draw my combo pieces, I lose.
And did you? Is it correct that you played tonight's matches on your cell phone?
Yes. And actually, I was super fast. I was actually super fast on that combo. I'm usually like a 9 damage ignite guy, where that's usually where I top out.
Mm-hmm.
The rope was burning. When the rope burns, that means I can get 3 ignites off. So when the rope was burning, I was just sending an 8 damage one. So I could have gotten a 9 and a 10 off too. Wow. I was on fire. Well, and that's what happens when you have the kind of hand that I had both First Flames. I had the hot streak already in hand. If I didn't have to play the elemental evocation that actually has an animation time delay, so that does cut into the combo. I'm gonna quote unquote say significantly, but it's not that much, but it is. Can mean the difference between an ignite or not. I just had a hot hand, and I had a hot draw, and I was able to take advantage of it, and I was really happy to see the Zeph burn, because I was like, that's something I should worry about in a Reno deck.
So when you said the hot hand, was that an ignite pun there? Or?
Why not? Why not? It's a deck that I brought to 11x with Nunaz Dormu in it for half as a laugh, and then kept going with it before the deck was nerfed, and after the deck was nerfed, I brought it to 11x again just to sort of prove I could do it. So like I'm confident playing the deck. It's just especially mobile, because again, I play all my games on mobile, so it's just knowing what the upper limit is of what I can do.
Absolutely well done. Very impressive. And so I have a question for you. So you're going up in the finals against Dr. BUMD, who traditionally has been kind of a practice partner
Sure.
for you. And so, and you guys build some decks together and stuff. So any thoughts on that? I mean, what a fun rivalry, I think, at least from our perspective. But
Yeah, so it's funny, like week one. So you guys got to cast us week one. How weird is that? This is shades of nobody's gonna remember this. I think it was a Euro Cup 2004. The first match of the tournament was Greece-Portugal. The final was Greece-Portugal. I think the first match was a tie. The second match, Greece took it. So like going into the season, I was just like, all right, people, I want to align myself. I want to align myself with the nerd dads. Ginger Ninja's out, so he's not here. Let me rope in Doc Mom. Let me rope in Pigpen. Pigpen had a lot of stuff going on. He helped a lot in testing, but a lot of times he's just like, Schmoopie, can I borrow some homework? And Doc was really the person I was bouncing ideas off of the entire season, except for week one, where I was just like, I guess we can't collaborate this week. This sucks. So what I kind of anticipate happening is like we're just gonna have to like, figure out who gets the kids. Like and he gets Pigpen, or I get Pigpen, and he gets Ginger. And like if we're gonna prep, we just stick to our side, our days that we get the kids, and go from there. He's a tremendous player, and he makes some really smart card choices when he builds his decks. I think I've probably brought a little bit more creativity to the matchup, but at the same time, where my creativity kind of brings me into the weeds, he's like, well, can we do something like that's like better, more effective, more linear? And so that's been an interesting dynamic, seeing that go back and forth.
Definitely. Well, and hearing you talk about that, I think we have to call the finals the custody battle.
The custody, done. And what's really ironic was like I honestly expected, this is like Martian's such a talented player, I didn't expect to advance tonight, and so I figured on this call I'd be saying, well, this is actually next week's going to come down to whether or not I owe myself 15 packs or not. I'm helping fund third place so that it's a little bit more there's a little bit more skin in the game instead of 15 each. I'm like, let's up that a little bit, let's make that 30-15. And I really was like, all right, well, do I have to, can I get away? Do I pay for 15 packs or do I not? Let's see what I do. But now listen, the stakes are much bigger.
Hey, the stakes are much higher now. So yeah, for those people watching, so we do have prizes for the top four. Fourth place is 15 pack bundle. Third place is 30 packs, so 2 times 15 pack bundle. So you're guaranteed at least that, right? No. You'll be in top 2 no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So second place is a 40 pack bundle, and first place is the 60 pack bundle. So, and it can be the new set if you guys want to. So.
That's real tempting. I'm gonna have to be extra devious this week to take down BOMD though. He's again, he makes a lot of smart card choices, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes when he plays. So you really have to be sharp.
He's a real life doctor. You can't make too many mistakes.
It's true. And he's been inside my head for 4 weeks. So exactly. He knows how I think. So now I have to try and think like him.
Good times. Well, I want to congratulate you, especially for making it this far, but also the deck building choices were very well done. When we looked at them, a lot of times when we put together these challenges, and because you helped with a bunch of them, but like you can make some meta adjacent decks, but we try to throw a spin on it. So it's, you can't just go to Tempo Storm and, this is a little bit different setup than THL. And so, but seeing the decks that both you and Martian put together were incredible. Like we're looking at these decks like, wow, these are actually really good.
Yeah, this week was definitely, I think I remember in the, oh, sorry, you go ahead, Chief, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, just agreeing.
Oh no, I was saying, when we kind of put this together, or we were putting ideas down on paper, I think this was one of the weeks that was the hang up. We're like, Goliath, can we find something to do with this? Because I think the initial challenge came from Maxi, who came up with the idea of 15 standard cards, 15 wild cards, which really did like impinge on a lot of like it really handicapped a lot of decks. That Caverns Below deck was basically tied down because the best elementals were wild and all the good rogue draw was wild. And it was like, and the bounces. So it's like, okay, well, good luck. And so there were a lot of decks that were kind of like that, where you either got, new set, brand new support, lots of standard cards, or like old deck, lots of staples, doesn't really want new cards. And so finding like the in-between was really tricky. And so when we were just kind of like, all right, well, let's make this the elemental week. That really did put an extra like little layer of difficulty on it.
And that makes so much more sense why the Quest Rogue in particular was your Prince Renethal deck, because you were able to fit in more of those kind of both packages of the new and the old to kind of match with that.
The sketchy info, whatever it's called, the 3-mana 2/3 print 2 Ellies. Yeah, I stole that trick from Maxi when he did it to me last season using Infested Goblin. And initially I was just like, all right, well, we'll just do this again with Infested Goblin. But I'm like, oh no, but we need elementals, to satisfy the challenge. And, it really was like an avenue C of how to complete the quest. So I was basically hard mulliganing in that deck for obviously anything that looked like the nuts. But also if I got sketchy info, I was taking it. One last little detail is like, obviously, like if you're going up against Martian, like he's not going to be bringing straight aggro, right? Like he's probably not. So my thought process going in was trying to figure out, I was like, okay, well, how can I either combo this guy if he goes super greedy, or how can I create board states that are at least mitigate greed? And I think the Big Priest did a decent job of doing that, especially because it's so funny that Nate had that experience with the list so soon. Nate, you probably felt pretty confident casting that one.
Yep.
So just making big things, running them out of threats. I got that really lucky mill on one of the giants. That was like, one of those giants is really almost like 4 threats because of when you hit it with the Conjurer's Calling. He lost a Conjurer's Calling and a shadow and in a Book of Shadows. So it's just like, okay, so I can just sort of just push threats, and maybe he can't answer them, or maybe I run him down. And then obviously the Quest Rogue, once that gets going, like forget the charges from hand. Like that's a bonus. With 40 cards, you're not guaranteed that that's going to happen. But I had the Derailed Coaster in there, just kind of as like, all right, I've got a bunch of stuff in my hand. I dropped this sucker. Here's a wave of pressure. Just keep making waves and waves of pressure that maybe a greedy deck can't always answer, or just doesn't have the right answers for. So that was my thought process.
Nice. Well, very exciting. Just as a heads up to anybody watching or listening to this, next week is the finals. The theme is the final battle. And so the primary challenge, each deck must contain at least 8 corrupted cards. Secondary challenge, each deck must contain at least 9 minions with a tribal tag, i.e. Murloc, Quillbore, Mech, Demon, etc. And at least 3 tribes must be represented in each deck.
These decks can be done. They're going to look like they're going to look like arena decks from the outside.
Could be.
It's going to be all about how you can get them. It's going to be all about how you can find that like little bit of synergy to slot them in and all this technique.
We might see Nuzoth.
But that's what I mean. That kind of like, yeah, you might see Nuzoth, you might see anything that has to do with the tribals. Obviously, the amalgams. The new amalgam is so good.
Yeah, the amalgams for sure, and there's some menagerie synergies going on there. So we'll see. We'll have to take a quick look to see if we need to do any updates based on Prince Renethal. I don't know. But we'll take a look at that
Right.
and update ASAP if needed.
Yeah, I thought you guys did it a smart way this week, just to keep the spirit of the challenge while still being able to use the new card. It was cool being able to use the new card. I don't know if it was optimal for my deck, but I did it. And so, that's really cool.
Well, it's very cool for us
Thank you.
also to see the new card in play, and so we had talked about, does this change anything? But I'm very happy that it worked out.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we let you go, Schmoopie, is there any one, are there any shout outs or anything that you want to say kind of in your moment of triumph here?
Sure. Big thanks to Ginger Ninja, who, even though he's not participating this season, gave me some really key reps yesterday for a couple hours before we were both playing like idiots. Big shout out, obviously, to my opponent next week, Dr. BUMD. Our dojo is strong. We brought it home to the finals. Shout out to Martian for, again, being an incredible human, incredible competitor. Honored to play against him. And I guess one last one to my wife, who got her first Day 1 Legend today.
Nice.
First joint family Day 1 Legend. And like her first Day 1 Legend, she comes in at 10. And like, meanwhile,
moly.
we gotta work to get into the top 10, right? She just sort of just floats in there, all right? So that's really cool too, and so it's been a day of celebration. And we even did it without being bad parents. We did stuff today, guys. We did stuff
Wow.
today. We got ice cream. I took Schmoopie for a hike. We did stuff. So that's just been really cool.
Life goals.
Life goals.
Well, congratulations again, SchmoopieDaddy. You are going to the finals. You've earned it. You and your dojo. I'm very excited to see and cast the custody battle.
It'll
All right,
be
thanks guys for having me.
It'll be wonderful. Yeah, congratulations again, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the finals next week.
See you next week.